He still owned the Republicans.
James Comer and the Republicans were unprepared for this, which is just embarrassing if you're a chair of a committee.
The basis for this fake sham impeachment hearing.
That fabricated image excluded critical context.
The best way for me is to play for you a clip of Steve Bannon's War Room, conservative former assistant to Donald Trump. And you're going to hear the voice of conservative commentator Sebastian Gorka going back and forth with Steve Bannon over the impeachment proceedings that began, or rather the impeachment inquiry proceedings that began yesterday in the House Oversight Committee headed up by James Comer. You can hear in the voice and in the argument, quite honestly, of Sebastian Gorka exactly how terrible it went for Republicans yesterday. And this is what happens when you start to buy into your own lies. You sit in an echo chamber for so long and you hear the same lies repeated over and over again that you start to believe it yourself, all the way to the point of calling an official congressional hearing. And this is the outcome of your echo chamber.
And he still owned the Republicans, utterly
I reserve
owned
my
them.
time on that.
I mean,
but go
think
ahead.
about it. What did we witness today, Steve? It was impeachment 48 of President Trump. They turned the whole thing into photographs of Ivanka, photographs of Jared. I mean, it's like, and the GOP just like, And the GOP, you know what pisses me off the most, Steve? When they roll out Republicans, and I'm a political junkie like you, and I see somebody who's like, they're third in line, 12 minutes in, and I've never heard of this piker before. I've never heard of this congressman or woman, and they're just like, here's another meat puppet, here's your script, darling, read it, and then the cretin, the stupid Democrat, just owns them, Steve. And then the last thing, Comer stands in the corridor afterwards and says, that was a great day. Bumble, 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 bumble. And then he says, and we just had one question. What did Biden's get for the tens of millions? And he doesn't answer the question. If you think you answered that question today, perhaps you should tell the American people what the answer to that question was.
Yeah. I need it.
I'm sorry, but that has to be the best summary of the clown show that we saw yesterday. And the fact that the Republicans believe their hype so much as to get in front of the entire country, quite frankly, the entire world, and show that they literally had zero evidence to support impeaching the president of the United States. Now, I have plenty of clips from the actual hearing, but again, the very best summaries came from conservative media outlets. Here is Fox News's The Five, the host by the name of Jessica Tarlov. She is breaking it down for conservatives. This did not go well for them yesterday.
First of all, James Comer and the Republicans were unprepared for this. There were a number of rules questions that Jamie Raskin and AOC were asking, procedural, which he didn't know how to deal with, which is just embarrassing if you're a chair of a committee. There were no fact witnesses and there was no new evidence. And to set the table, there's a new NBC poll out that says that 56% of Americans are not interested in this. But you know what they are interested in? Keeping the government open. And that's why there were government shutdown clocks.
Again, this really went so bad for Republicans yesterday that every single aspect of what they wanted to accomplish backfired on them, because the attention, like Jessica Tarlov just stated, was on the fact that this is how Republicans are wasting Americans' time as the government is getting ready to shut down. It went so bad for Republicans yesterday. I want you to listen to freshman Representative Maxwell Frost, young man, taking the chairman of the committee, James Comer, to task, so much so that Comer interrupted the congressman, and then Frost had to reclaim his time.
This fake impeachment is based on desperate political calculation, not any evidence. And Mr. Chairman, you say this hearing is to establish the basis for this fake sham impeachment hearing, but these witnesses are not giving us any basis or giving us any evidence or giving us any solutions.
They are giving us several times.
I reclaim my time.
I have to stop because that's not a true statement.
I reclaim my time. The witness who has a lot of questions, Ms. O'Connor, Dubinsky, one witness who knows something about accounting but has no real involvement in what's going on, and Mr. Turley stopping here on his way to his next Fox News hit. This is not a serious inquiry.
It's not a serious inquiry, and these are not serious people, as evidenced by the fact of Representative Byron Donalds, a black Republican from the state of Florida, trying to insert into evidence an altered image where his team doctored a photo of a text message, removing the relevant context so that you could honestly know the meaning of what this text message meant between Hunter Biden and his uncle Jim Biden. Byron Donalds actually tried to insert into the record a doctored image, and he got called out on it in real time by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
The highlight is, this is a text message between Jim Biden and Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden was in a bad way, by the way. He was really strung out. He lost a bunch of money. He needed help. Jim Biden says, this can work. You need a safe harbor. I can work with your father alone. It'll probably take several months and everybody can read the text. Ms. O'Connor, Mr. Dubinsky, if you saw a text message like this between the president's brother and the president's son, wouldn't you be concerned about them trying to give plausible deniability for the president of the United States to not have any knowledge of said business dealings?
It's worth.
Gentleman's time's expired, but please answer the question.
It's worth investigating.
Mr. Dubinsky?
I would agree. I would investigate this.
I yield back.
Funny how he tried to slide that in at the very end of his time as though no one would notice. But unfortunately for all of Republicans, especially Byron Donalds, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez noticed right away.
Earlier today, one of our colleagues, a gentleman from Florida, presented up on this screen something that appeared to be a screenshot of a text message containing or insinuating an explosive allegation. That screenshot of what appeared to be a text message was a fabricated image. It was a fabricated image. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was the staff of the committee, but it was not the actual direct screenshot from that phone. And in fact, I would like to submit to the committee the actual full context from the Ziegler affidavit number 1, exhibit 402, of the full text of that exchange. Do I have permission from the chair?
Receipts.
Importantly, what was brought out from that fabricated image excluded critical context that changed the underlying meaning and allegation that was presented up on that screen by this committee and by members of this committee. Now, they are well within their right to do that because they are covered by the speech and debate clause. This was not submitted by a material or fact witness under oath. That was not submitted by a material or fact witness under oath.
Which means Republicans essentially can insert lies from their positions as congresspeople on these committees. They can insert lies and fabrications into the record of the United States of America without being held liable for perjury. They're doing the nasty work of spreading misinformation from their positions of authority. But thankfully, the Democrats were Johnny on the spot calling out the BS. And so what a significant waste of time when the government is getting ready to shut down, when people are living paycheck to paycheck, when climate disaster is all around us. The city of New York this morning is completely underwater, but thankfully the leaders of this country have decided to use your time, your taxpayer dollars, to instead of addressing any issue that really matters, they're using it to fabricate text messages to try to impeach the president of the United States when they have no evidence to support that. Listen, we are being led by some very unserious people at a very serious time.